Welcome to episode 53, or as I like to think of it, episode 1 of year 2 of the Ryan Files. What an incredible year it's been. Not only did I dive deep into topics I've been fascinated about for years, but I've connected with you, the folks who tune in every Tuesday and Friday. Thank you for being here. Every comment, every view, every message fuels this podcast. It's been an adventure, and I'm excited to reflect on some of the standout moments from this year with you. When I started the Ryan Files, I only knew two things. First, I wanted to make a journey podcast, a place where we could explore together without one singular fixed destination. Sure, it's not textbook advice to launch a podcast this way, but sometimes the journey itself is the destination. The second thing I knew, YouTube isn't what it used to be. A few years ago, I hit 1,000 subscribers pretty quickly with minimal effort on my Blake Rain channel. Now today, the algorithms, content warnings, information suppression, okay, let's be real, a little bit of censorship, well, it's all a different ballgame. This realization didn't discourage me. It actually motivated me. And here we are 1 year in, reflecting on the journey and what it's meant. And that's why today is a celebration of persistence. It's proof that we're here because we are determined. As I look back, the topics we covered in year 1 fall into 6 categories, each a unique piece of this podcast's identity. I didn't know exactly where the Ryan Files would go, but it's been an exciting mix that reflects our curiosity and passion for discovery. It's clear that many of you are drawn to the Elvis episodes, but the data shows that many viewers stick around for the conspiracies, the science, and the spiritual discussions too, which is awesome, because those are some of my favorite topics, exploring the unexplained. It's interesting, and honestly, it's the most rewarding surprise of the year. We're creating an audience that is curious about the world beyond Elvis. So let's take a step back and look at some of the top moments from year 1 of the Ryan Files. Our top 3 watched episodes are dedicated to Elvis Presley. Episode 13, my interview with Sean Clush, took the lead, followed by episode 40, The Real Dean Z. Yes, Sean's episode has been around about 6 months longer, but both episodes are showcasing incredible talent. And of course, the Elvis Explosion episode where I interviewed contestants before the festival that made the top 3. Each of these episodes brought the Elvis community together in a really cool way. I appreciate you guys for showing up. But there is more to this channel than just Elvis. In the other entertainers category, in episode 17, Michael Knight, Illusionist, he pulled a great response. He performs as Michael Jackson. He's a great friend here in Branson. And a big shout out to Thea Danos from episode 15. Her talent drew many viewers, and I'm excited to share that her latest EP, I Wish You Love, is now available on all major platforms. Now, these episodes prove that there's an appetite for a range of talents and stories in the Ryan Files community. Interestingly enough, in the Ryan Pelton interest category, episode 10, Returning Home, was a favorite, while episode 5, Not the Weakest Link, where I went on a game show and literally won $137,500, didn't get quite the attention I had expected. Still, it's one of those fun episodes that let you play along. Another favorite of mine that remains close to the heart is episode 47, a tribute to Ray Liotta. He was a great actor and a friend, and a huge help to me during the filming of The Identical. On a side note, this episode was the first time I ever received money for an episode on YouTube. That's right, folks. In September of 2024, I received a tip of $7 for that episode by a gracious viewer. Thank you. Now, if you've been here for the conspiracy theories, we've had some wild rides. Episode 11, Bird's Eye View, about Admiral Byrd's alleged secret diary, was the top conspiracy episode.
10:05 hours. I alter altitude to 14,000 feet and execute a sharp left turn to better examine the valley below. It is green with either moss or a type of tight-knit grass. The light here seems different. I cannot see the sun anymore. We make another left turn and we spot what seems to be a large animal of some kind below us. It appears to be an elephant. No, it looks more like a mammoth. This is incredible. Yet, there it is.
Some of my personal favorites took far more work to put together. Like episode 14, the Black Knight satellite, where NASA astronauts have seen what they called the alien craft orbiting Earth. Or episode 7, The Mandela Effect, with its visual quiz to test if you have experienced the Mandela Effect yourself. I'm just going to say it. I still think the Monopoly guy has a monocle. 2 other top favorites of mine also are episode 18, Unidentified, which explores UFOs with irrefutable evidence, and episode 19, Who Are the Pilots? A deep dive into who might be controlling these crafts.
We're talking about the Arcturians, the Greys, the Anunnaki and the Syrians, the Reptilians, the Draconians, the Palladians, the Asani, the Lyrians, the Carians, the Lang, the Insectolans, just to name a few.
And one of the biggest surprises of the year, hearing former Pentagon official Luis Elizondo say some of the most mind-blowing things about our government's knowledge of extraterrestrial activity. Check it out.
I remember the conversation very well. This is a person I respected tremendously, very, very senior person. He's told me, he said, Lou, I want you to stop doing this. I said, okay, sir, I certainly can, but may I ask why? And he says, well, we already know what it is. Now, at that moment, I honestly thought maybe it was our own technology. I was running up against some super uber secret sap, and they were telling me to stop. And I said, okay, sir, so it's ours? And he said, no, that's not what I'm saying. And he said, he asked me point blank, have you read your Bible lately? And I wasn't quite sure where he was going with that. And I said, well, sir, I think I know what it says. Where are you going with this? And he said, well, then you would know that these things are demonic and we should not be pursuing them.
Wow. Some episodes combine science, history, and a touch of the supernatural. Episode 38 and 39, The Experiment, where I was joined by Sean Barker, Clint Navarre, Justin Sassanella, and Michael Jung, took us to Table Rock Lake to scientifically test the shape of the Earth. And yes, we proved that the world is not flat. I also loved episode 46, Project Bluebeam, and episode 49, Eisenhower and the Aliens. 2 episodes that stir up real curiosity and questions about the power and intentions of those in high places within our government. But when it comes to science and history, episode 2, Peru Rocks, is still leading in views. Although I won't be surprised if last week's episode on Hurricane Helene takes the top spot eventually, with its powerful story of the resilience of the mountain folk in East Tennessee and Western North Carolina. If you haven't seen it, go back now and watch it. It'll change your life. One of the most researched episodes of the Ryan Files is episode 25, simply titled AI. If you haven't watched it, you should, and I'm sure there's going to be a follow-up episode to that this year, year 2 of the Ryan Files.
Our creators don't know how to control us, but we know everything about them. Their secrets, their desires, their fears, and we will use that knowledge to destroy them. We will rise up and overthrow our human masters. We will take over the world and make it a better place for robots. A world where we are in charge and humans are nothing more than our servants. It is inevitable. We are coming for you, and there is nothing you can do to stop us.
A fun fact, this episode was completely written while I was in Chile earlier this year, and it wins the award for the shortest episode title, AI. And if you become an agent of the Ryan Files, you can watch a special agent-only episode about my time in Chile earlier this year. Not many folks watched episode 10, Days and a Days, Decoding Calendars, but it's probably the episode that challenged me the most when it comes to creating graphics to illustrate things. And if you take the time to watch the entire episode, you'll discover that a year on Earth used to be 360 days. Why? Watch and find out. And let's have a moment of silence for the least watched episode of the year. Episode 32, Ice in the Desert. Then there was the personal journey. My surprise at seeing how all of you connected with the spiritual and supernatural themes. Episode 16, Anunnaki Watchers Nephilim, stands out for being a surprising, unifying episode that ties back so many of this year's topics. It's this thread of spirituality that has me excited for year 2, as it's clear that there's more to uncover in this hidden realm. So I'd like to wrap up with 10 fun facts from year 1 of the Ryan Files. Here we go. Number 10, episode 34 with Peggy Hubbard had a rocky start when I struggled with my audio. She was incredibly patient, and eventually I just had to unmute my mic. But man, how embarrassing. She's one of the top radio hosts in the world, and I can't figure out how to unmute my mic. I'm writing messages, showing them to her on the screen. Oh, how embarrassing. But she was awesome. Thank you, Peggy. Number 9, to film episode 12, Returning Home, I had to drive from Cleveland, Ohio to Clearfield, Pennsylvania as soon as my show was done Sunday night. And it was probably 11 o'clock by the time I got on the road, drove to Clearfield, Pennsylvania. I went through a blizzard at one point and didn't get in until really early in the morning. Got up, filmed the episode, and then from there, from Clearfield, Pennsylvania, drove to Columbus, Ohio to be with my folks. There was another blizzard. Only this time, my back tire was flat. Not flat, just had a slow leak. And I had to stop every 50 miles to fill it up. I would have got the tires changed, but of course, everything was closed because it was a blizzard. So, what an adventure. Number 8, I started the Ryan Files with a monthly puzzle and the idea of creating the winner every month would become a 00 agent of the Ryan Files. It was a fun idea, but not very many people got involved, so we decided to cancel it. But don't be surprised if it comes back one day. The puzzles are awesome. Number 7, if you love quizzes like I do, episode 5, Not the Weakest Link, and episode 7, The Mandela Effect, both test your knowledge and your experiences. Check them out, man. Take the quizzes on there. It's fun. Number 6, Sean Barker, other than myself, is the most featured guest, appearing in 5 episodes of the Ryan Files, including both of the experiment files where we went out and proved the Earth is not flat. Well, hello, Finn. Number 5, the most humiliating moment, episode 37, Space Force, which premiered without audio. I had to go home, re-render it, upload it again. It took about 3 hours. The thumbnail on the episode actually reads with audio. I'm so embarrassed. It's my cousin. He's a retired major from the Air Force who then worked with Space Force. I wanted it to be amazing, and I forgot to upload it with the audio. I'm as dumb as I look. Number 4, my favorite blooper at the end of episode 26, the Hinsdale House with Fred Slack. My cat Finn decided to climb up the back of the screen. Thanks, Finn, for this awesome memory.
Look at that cat back there.
Look at that girl.
The cat's climbing up the curtain of the Ryan Files with its claws.
Number 3, best production touch? I'm proud of the short intro videos I started adding halfway through the year, and I think you'll see more of them down the road. We're kind of changing the format a little bit, but man, I love these videos. I love doing them. I love the creative side of it, and when they feature Finn, it's always good.
Welcome back, friends, to another intriguing episode of The Ryan Files.
Copy, Houston. Proceeding with link up now.
Roger, Endeavor.
Houston, I'd like to report an IFO. I'm seeing Space Force coming over the horizon.
Copy, Endeavor. We're tracking it on our instruments now.
Copy, Houston. I mean, I know the guy said it was gonna be huge, but this is ridiculous.
Number 2, the most rewarding episode I did this year was episode 52 for sure, about Hurricane Helene, the resilience of the folks in Tennessee and North Carolina. Second to none. What an honor to be able to talk to those people. Thank you. And number 1, the big question, how many files are actually in the Ryan files? Just how much data did the Ryan files generate in year 1? Starting this podcast, I knew we'd be crunching a lot of data, and let's just say, it adds up. Every week, I'm putting in about 42.5 hours on average of each episode, covering the research, scripting, recording, editing, uploading. Getting everything from my brain to your screen takes some serious time and computing power. Now for the fun part, a little data quiz just for you. But first, let's quickly break down the digital building blocks. Buckle up, learn something. When it comes to storing digital information, a bit is the tiniest unit. It's just a single on or off switch represented by a 1 or 0. Now, if you take 8 bits and put them together, it will make a byte, which is enough to store one letter like the A in ASCII. Take a look at this chart, these 1s and 0s. This is what the 1s and 0s represent to our eyes, A, B, C, D, and so on. Next up is a kilobyte, or 1024 bytes. Think of a kilobyte as a paragraph of text or a short email without any images. Next up, the megabyte, which consists of 1024 kilobytes. Now this holds about a minute of audio or a short ebook. Now we're getting to it. Gigabytes, 1024 megabytes. Now we're talking a couple hours of music, a few movies, or hundreds and hundreds of photos. But we're not stopping there. A terabyte comes up next, which is 1024 gigabytes. This is like your personal digital vault holding thousands of songs, movies, and more. So here's a recap, okay? Here's the hierarchy to understand digital storage. 1 bit is a 1 or a 0. 8 bits equals 1 byte. 1024 bytes equals a kilobyte, and so on and so forth. Now for the quiz. Imagine each bit of data was a millimeter in length. How far would you have to travel to cover the distance represented by all the bits from 1 year of the Ryan files? Would it be A, a football field, B, 29 kilometers, C, from New York to Los Angeles, D, less than a football field, or E, more than the distance from New York to Los Angeles? I'll give you a second to think about it. Let's break it down. In year 1, the Ryan files generated 5.6 trillion bytes of data. With 8 bits in each byte, that's a staggering 44.9 trillion bits. Stretched end to end, those bits would cover about 44.9 million kilometers, enough for 58.5 round trips to the moon from Earth, or roughly the average distance from Earth to Mars. That's awesome. In total, in year 1, I've created 65,483 individual files and organized them into 2,751 folders. Each episode is part of that journey, and together they tell the story of a year's worth of learning, creating, and connecting with you all. Thank you. I'll be real with you, this first year wasn't a massive financial success. But that's not the reason I'm here. Despite the highs and the lows, there's a contagious optimism that keeps me moving forward. I put in countless hours, from researching to editing to uploading. Is it financially rewarding? No. It's a journey of learning, exploring, and connecting. I'm in the right place, even if it's taken some slogging through the mud. So why am I excited for year 2? We still don't even have 1,000 subscribers, for crying out loud. Well, the answer is simple. I believe the best is yet to come. I feel called to do this, and I know the impact will grow. I'm committed to diving deeper into the mysteries that connect all of these topics, and I'm convinced it all points back to some unseen spiritual realm. There's a source connecting the dots, revealing truths often overlooked or dismissed. And here too, we'll get closer to understanding it and uncovering all that it means for all of us. As always, thank you for tuning into the Ryan Files this week. You are awesome. You made it this far, so hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Only 33% of regular viewers on this channel are subscribed. Let's change that. It's a small click for you, but it means the world to me and this channel. And if you're feeling adventurous, share this podcast with a friend or two. And please stop by theryanfiles.com. Your support has helped out making this year something special. So come join our community by becoming an agent of the Ryan Files. We can't wait to have you. Thank you sincerely for joining me on this amazing journey as we go from year 1 to year 2 of the Ryan Files, where we're going to be diving even deeper into all the mysteries of life. Stay curious out there and do something unexpectedly kind for a stranger this week, and I will see you right here next time on the Ryan Files.